Is that an unexpected twinge in your knee when you stand up, a little more effort than you remember it taking just a few years ago? Are stairs starting to feel more like a challenging mountain range than a simple, everyday part of your home, each step requiring a conscious calculation and perhaps a steadying hand on the railing for extra support? Many of us, as we gracefully add more years to our lives, begin to notice a subtle, or sometimes unfortunately not so subtle, weakening in our legs. It might manifest as a fleeting feeling of unsteadiness when you first get out of bed in the morning, a brief hesitation before stepping confidently off a curb, or perhaps your legs just feel heavier, more prone to fatigue after activities that once felt entirely effortless and routine. We might initially shrug these moments off, perhaps with a resigned sigh and a familiar thought, well, this is just an inevitable part of getting older, isn't it? But what if I were to tell you that this creeping weakness, this gradual but persistent loss of power in your stride and stability in your stance, isn't merely an unavoidable consequence of time simply passing by? What if some of the very fruits you're choosing with the best of intentions, selecting them from the produce aisle, believing them to be pillars of a healthy, balanced diet, could be quietly, almost secretly, playing a significant part in diminishing your leg strength, subtly affecting your precious balance, and even actively contributing to that nagging, unwelcome joint pain that can so easily limit our daily activities and overall enjoyment of life? It certainly sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? Fruits are widely celebrated as nature's candy, vibrant packages bursting with vitamins and goodness. And they are. But the truth, as we'll explore today, is a little more complex, especially when it comes to maintaining that vital leg strength in our golden years. We're going to uncover 7 common fruits that, if not consumed mindfully, with an informed understanding of their properties and in appropriate quantities, could potentially contribute to leg fatigue, a decrease in muscle power, and even an increase in joint pain. We'll delve into the science, share real-life insights, and reveal why understanding portion control and the nature of these fruits is crucial. If you've been wondering about leg weakness causes, which foods might affect knee pain, or how to eat for stronger muscles as a senior, you're in the right place. This isn't about creating a list of forbidden foods. It's about arming you with knowledge for a strong, active life. Now, if you believe knowledge is power, especially for health, please give this video a thumbs up. It's a small click, but it helps us spread these crucial insights. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and ringing that notification bell. We're passionate about bringing you practical, well-researched information. Most importantly, we value your experiences. Please share your thoughts, questions, or tips in the comments section below. It's through sharing that we all learn and support one another. All right, let's start our exploration with a snack that many of us have enjoyed since childhood, dried grapes, or as we commonly know them, raisins. They're often presented as a healthy, convenient snack, easy to pack, a source of fiber, and a quick burst of energy. And in very small, controlled amounts, they can indeed fit into a balanced diet. However, the main challenge with raisins, and this applies to most dried fruits, lies in the transformation they undergo. The drying process, while excellent for preservation, dramatically concentrates the fruit's natural sugars. What was once a plump, water-rich grape becomes a small, dense package of sweetness. A small box of raisins can contain a surprising amount of sugar, often comparable to a candy bar. Why is this a concern for leg strength and joint health? When we consume a large amount of sugar in one go, especially from quickly absorbed sources, our blood sugar levels can spike rapidly. Over time, frequent blood sugar spikes can contribute to a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout the body. Our joints, particularly weight-bearing ones like the knees and hips, can be quite sensitive to this inflammation, leading to increased stiffness, soreness, and pain. Furthermore, chronically elevated blood sugar and potential insulin resistance can interfere with muscle protein synthesis, the process our bodies use to repair and build muscle. This might even accelerate muscle loss, or sarcopenia, a significant concern for seniors striving to maintain strength and mobility. Consider someone who regularly snacks on large handfuls of raisins, thinking they're making a healthier choice. They might not immediately connect the increasing stiffness in their knees or that growing feeling of heaviness in their legs with this seemingly innocent fruit. It's not that raisins are inherently bad, but the portion size and frequency of consumption are absolutely key. A few raisins sprinkled on oatmeal is very different from eating a large bag as a standalone snack, especially if one isn't very active. Awareness of this concentrated sugar content is the vital first step. Next on our list are those colorful, convenient canned fruits, often found swimming in a heavy, sweet syrup. Peaches, pears, fruit cocktail. They can seem like an easy way to get fruit servings in, especially when fresh fruit isn't readily available or requires more preparation. However, the significant issue here is almost always the syrup. This syrup is typically loaded with added sugars, sometimes high fructose corn syrup, which sends the total sugar content soaring far beyond what the fruit naturally contains. When you consume these syrupy fruits, you're not just getting the fruit, you're getting a deluge of refined sugar. This, much like with raisins, can lead to undesirable blood sugar spikes, contribute to systemic inflammation, and over time, potentially undermine muscle health and exacerbate joint pain. Think about the impact on your leg muscles and knees if they are constantly dealing with the effects of excess sugar and inflammation. That fatigue, that ache, that weakness could be subtly worsened by this hidden sugar source. Many people don't even realize how much sugar is in that syrup they spoon over their fruit or even drink from the can. If you opt for canned fruit, always look for varieties canned in their own juice or in water, with no added sugar clearly stated on the label. And even then, be mindful of the natural sugars present. Rinsing fruit that was canned in light syrup can help remove some excess sugar, but choosing options without any added sugar in the first place is a far better strategy for your leg strength and overall health. It's about making informed choices in the grocery aisle that support your body, rather than unknowingly burdening it. Let's talk about bananas, a universally beloved fruit, packed with potassium and often recommended for a quick energy boost. But there's an important nuance here, especially when we consider overripe bananas. As a banana ripens, its starch content naturally converts into sugar. A banana that is still green or just barely yellow contains more resistant starch, which is digested more slowly and has a gentler impact on blood sugar levels. However, an overripe banana, one that's heavily speckled with brown spots and very soft to the touch, is significantly higher in simple sugars. If you're someone who regularly consumes very ripe bananas, perhaps blending them into smoothies for extra sweetness or grabbing one as a quick snack, that increased sugar load, consumed frequently, could contribute to the same issues we've been discussing. Blood sugar fluctuations that can lead to energy crashes, potential inflammation affecting your joints, and a less supportive environment for overall muscle and joint health in your legs. The goal isn't to eliminate bananas entirely. Rather, it's about recognizing how ripeness alters their nutritional profile. If you're particularly concerned about sugar intake or its effects on your body, choosing bananas that are just ripe or even slightly on the greener side might be a more beneficial option than consistently eating them when they are very soft and intensely sweet. And as always, portion size plays a critical role. A whole large, overripe banana delivers a more significant sugar hit than enjoying half of a moderately ripe one. These seemingly small adjustments in how you select and consume even common fruits can make a substantial difference to your leg health and energy levels over time, helping you feel more consistently strong and stable. Now for a summertime favorite that many of us look forward to, cantaloupe. This juicy melon is wonderfully hydrating, a good source of vitamins A and C, and certainly provides a refreshing treat on a warm day. However, it's also true that cantaloupe can be surprisingly high in sugar, especially if it's allowed to become very ripe and exceptionally sweet, and particularly if you tend to enjoy it in large portions. While cantaloupe generally has a moderate glycemic index, meaning it doesn't typically cause blood sugar to spike as dramatically as some other high-sugar foods, Consuming a large wedge or multiple wedges of very sweet cantaloupe in one sitting can still deliver a substantial sugar load to your system. For individuals who find they are particularly sensitive to sugar, or for those who are managing conditions like diabetes or arthritis, where blood sugar control and inflammation are key concerns, this influx of natural sugar can be problematic. That temporary pleasure of a sweet, juicy treat could, if it becomes a regular habit involving large portions, subtly contribute to underlying inflammation or affect blood sugar control in a way that doesn't support optimal muscle and nerve function in the legs. Many people consider cantaloupe purely healthy, so they might not think twice about eating a large amount. But enjoying a reasonable slice is perfectly fine for most. However, if you're experiencing unexplained leg weakness or joint discomfort, and you're a frequent consumer of large portions of cantaloupe, it might be worth reflecting on your portion sizes and how often you indulge. Sometimes these connections are not immediately obvious, but can be a factor in how you feel. Pineapple is another tropical delight, well known for its unique enzyme, bromelain, which actually has recognized anti-inflammatory properties. This might make it seem like an ideal fruit for promoting joint health and reducing inflammation. However, it's important to balance this with the fact that pineapple is also quite high in natural sugars. If consumed in large quantities, or particularly if you're choosing pineapple that has been canned in heavy syrup, the high sugar content can unfortunately negate some of the potential benefits of bromelain and could instead contribute to issues like blood sugar spikes and increased systemic inflammation. Very sweet fresh pineapple, while delicious, can still pack a considerable sugary punch, especially if large amounts are eaten at once. For some individuals, the natural acidity of pineapple, combined with its sugar content, can also be an irritant if consumed excessively, perhaps leading to digestive discomfort. When we're considering leg strength and joint health, the recurring theme is balance. A small amount of fresh pineapple is generally a good choice, offering vitamins and that beneficial bromelain. But if you're frequently consuming large glasses of pineapple juice, which is concentrated sugar without the fiber of the whole fruit, or consistently eating large servings of very sweet pineapple, especially if it's the syrupy canned version, you could be inadvertently working against your goals for strong, pain-free legs. The potential for rapid blood sugar spikes and the overall sugar load are the primary concerns here, underscoring the need for moderation and a preference for fresh over heavily sweetened processed options. Let's turn our attention to grapes, specifically the very sweet varieties that are so easy to enjoy. Like their dried counterpart, raisins, fresh grapes are incredibly easy to eat, and because they're small, it's remarkably easy to consume a large quantity without truly realizing it. A big bowl of very sweet grapes, while seeming like a healthy and light snack, can deliver a significant amount of sugar very quickly. Whether green or red, if the grapes are exceptionally sweet, they are naturally high in simple sugars like fructose and glucose. Snacking on them continuously throughout the day or eating a large bunch in one sitting can lead to repeated elevations in blood sugar. For seniors, whose bodies may not manage glucose as efficiently as they once did, this can be a particular concern. This pattern of sugar overload can contribute to an inflammatory environment within the body, which is detrimental to joint health, potentially worsening existing knee pain or leading to increased stiffness. It can also impact overall energy levels, leading to that familiar cycle of a quick sugar rush followed by fatigue, making your legs feel heavy rather than energized. While the fiber in whole grapes does help to slow sugar absorption compared to grape juice, the sheer volume of sugar in a large portion of very sweet grapes is still something to be mindful of. If you love grapes, try to stick to a modest serving size, perhaps a small handful, and consider pairing them with a source of protein or healthy fat, like a few nuts or a piece of cheese, to help further slow down that sugar absorption and create a more balanced snack. Finally, let's talk about mangoes. Mangoes are undeniably delicious, often described as exotic and luscious, and they are packed with beneficial vitamins, such as vitamin C and vitamin A. However, it's also important to recognize that mangoes are one of the fruits with a naturally higher sugar content, especially when they become very ripe and soft. A single medium-sized mango can contain a substantial amount of sugar, sometimes upwards of 40 grams or more. If you are regularly eating whole mangoes in one sitting or frequently consuming large portions of this very sweet fruit, you could be contributing to those same patterns of blood sugar spikes and potential inflammation that we've been discussing. This doesn't mean mangoes are off limits. They offer wonderful nutrients and a delightful taste. But like the other fruits on this list, awareness of their sugar density and practicing mindful portion control are paramount, especially if you are already dealing with issues like leg weakness, persistent joint pain, or conditions sensitive to blood sugar levels, such as diabetes. For someone whose leg muscles feel chronically fatigued, or whose knees tend to ache, unknowingly consuming large amounts of high-sugar fruits like mangoes on a regular basis might be a hidden contributing factor to their discomfort. A good approach is to enjoy mango in smaller, more controlled quantities, perhaps as a part of a mixed fruit salad where its sweetness is balanced by other lower-sugar fruits, or as an occasional special treat rather than a daily staple, particularly if you find you're sensitive to its effects or are carefully managing your overall sugar intake. So, we've talked about these 7 fruits: raisins, syrupy canned fruits, overripe bananas, cantaloupe, pineapple, very sweet grapes, and mangoes, not to create alarm, but to foster a deeper awareness. The true secret to stronger legs and better joint health as we age isn't about completely eliminating these fruits. Instead, it's about understanding their specific characteristics, consistently practicing mindful portion control, and, very importantly, learning to listen to your own body's unique responses. The real path to stronger legs lies in a holistic, well-rounded approach to your health. This definitely includes a balanced diet rich in lean proteins, which are essential for muscle repair and maintenance. Adequate hydration is also crucial, as water plays a vital role in muscle function and joint lubrication. Regular physical activity, carefully chosen to suit your abilities and preferences, is indispensable for maintaining muscle mass and strength. And as we have emphasized throughout our discussion, being consistently mindful of your total sugar intake from all food and beverage sources is a fundamental cornerstone of good health in your senior years. For many older adults, experiencing leg weakness or persistent pain can also stem from other underlying medical causes that go beyond their immediate dietary choices. These can include conditions such as compromised or poor circulation, various nerve issues or neuropathy, the progressive wear and tear of osteoarthritis, or even unforeseen side effects from medications they might be taking for other health conditions. This is why it is always so vitally important to discuss any new, persistent, or worsening leg problems with your doctor or a trusted healthcare provider. They can help you get to the root cause of your symptoms and develop an appropriate and effective plan for management. However, proactively optimizing your nutrition by being keenly aware of how even seemingly healthy foods can impact your body is an incredibly powerful and empowering step you can take for yourself, starting today. Make it a habit to choose whole, minimally processed foods whenever possible. When you do choose to eat fruits that are naturally higher in their sugar content, consciously keep your portions modest and perhaps consume them less frequently than other lower sugar fruit options. Try to balance these higher sugar fruits with an abundance of lower sugar, high fiber alternatives like berries, apples, or pears, always in their whole form. Pay close attention to how you feel after eating certain foods. Do you notice increased stiffness, a dip in energy, or more pronounced joint pain after a particularly sugary meal or snack? This is your body providing you with valuable feedback. Preventing muscle loss and maintaining leg strength involves not just avoiding potentially detrimental habits, but also actively incorporating beneficial ones. Ensure you're getting enough high-quality protein distributed throughout your day to support muscle health. Stay as active as you safely can in ways that you find enjoyable. Remember, even gentle weight-bearing exercises can make a significant difference. Strive to manage inflammation through an overall anti-inflammatory diet. which emphasizes whole foods, healthy fats, and strictly limits processed items and, of course, excess sugars. Accurate information and consistently mindful choices are your best allies in maintaining a healthy, active, and strong life. Your legs have carried you through a lifetime. By making informed choices, you can continue to support them, allowing them to carry you with strength and confidence for many more years to come.